chicken doing, Snow? We're in the high tunnel again. Seems like we're in here a lot. So if you decide you guys want to get one of these, just be aware there's a little bit of labor and love involved. So I'm in here pruning, doing some lowering and leaning, which we talked about on a previous video. And I wanted to talk a little bit about something really bad, armyworms. Armyworms are something that's been coming out. They tend to get more prevalent and when the weather has been, I think it's hot and damp, if I remember correctly. Basically, they look like little caterpillars. They will decimate a lawn overnight. You have green, lush lawn overnight, and the next morning, your grasses are all brown. I mean, but the other thing they apparently like is tomatoes. And I think they like my peppers too, because I see some over here, some peppers with a lot of leaves stripped on it and a lot of castings laying on the ground. We've also had a little bit of issues with hornworms. So when I first saw these little green caterpillar thingies, I said, oh, okay, there's the immature, you know, like the small hornworms, what they look like when they first come out. And then my husband got to looking online and found out that actually in our area, we are having a major hornworm issue. So I'm just going to show you guys some of the evidence that we have here. I haven't been seeing them on the ground, in the ground cover, which is where I first saw them. So we've been finding them up in the plants. So what I've been doing is these, I'm not touching them. So I just cut them in half and kill them. So I'm going to show you that. And we've got a lot of debris on the ground right now because the kids were supposed to come out here and pick it up, and they did not do it. So guess what they're doing after school? So let me go along and just show you. So this is from pruning, and then a lot of these tomatoes were either busted, cracked, and I didn't have time to process them. They should have been taken out and given to the chickens, but they weren't. But let's see. Okay, here's a good spot. There's where one of the armyworms has been chewing on a tomato. Now, if I get that inside and have time later, this is where they've actually burrowed into one, and it's now rotting off. So we'll just get rid of that. My cats are playing. Let's see if I can't find a few more here. I'd love to actually find an armyworm in here. If I find one, I will show it to you guys. If not, I'll get a picture offline. That way you guys can see it. Let's see, is there... So, well, I can show you the castings. Hang on. So, a lot like hornworm, but smaller. See all those little black spots? That is armyworm poop. You can see in that tomato that's off, there's a hole in it. That's where an armyworm has been. Oh, I found one. So, that is an armyworm. Let's see if I can snip this off. That is an armyworm, guys. See? Looks kind of like a caterpillar. And they will strip the leaves off of your plants. Not quite as fast as a hornworm, but they tend to like the fruit. So far, what I've been seeing is I'm not seeing as much damage to the plant itself from armyworms. I'm seeing more damage to the fruit. Is what they really seem to be really liking. I found one the other day, and I wish I would have thought. I don't think I had my phone out here with me, but there was one, and it was actually had burrowed completely into a beautiful tomato. And then just had its little head poking out. You know, it was a really nice, big, almost ripe tomato, and it had ruined it. Yeah, those are armyworms, guys, and they can be quite destructive. I had never heard of them before. I had never seen them before. And now I wish I hadn't, because they are a pain in the butt. So I'm just going to keep going along here. I've got a lot of stuff to get done this morning. I want to try to get at least 2 rows pruned before I go in and get cleaned up, and I've got some errands to run this afternoon. So, I've got one errand I have to run this morning, and then I'm going to come back and probably be out here again. And then this is a hornworm. So I just wanted you guys to see the difference. This is a hornworm. The other one was an armyworm. Now, if you see a hornworm and it has a bunch of little, looks like tiny rice grains all over it, I mean, it's up to you, but I don't kill them when they're like that. This one I'll kill. I'll get rid of it. He might even go to the chickens. But if they have the little white rice grain looking things on them, those are eggs of a parasitic wasp that will actually feed off of that hornworm, and the babies will hatch. And then they'll live on to continue to help you eradicate the hornworm. The hornworm is basically the larvae or worm before it turns into this really big, cool looking moth. But unfortunately, you know, those are not a good thing because they really will decimate your tomatoes. So I just wanted to show you guys the difference. Okay, one more quick note. I forgot to tell you guys, the other thing that we're doing to try to treat for the armyworms as well as the hornworms is BT. It's a organic bacterial, like microbacterial that apparently destroys them